Hey everybody, welcome back to 402 Boomboxes. Today we're going to start a new build and we're going to be using a 8-inch woofer or 8-inch coax speaker for this build. We're going to be using a 3800 box to do this, and this is going to be a waterproof box. It's going to be used for off-road use on an ATV. And let's get to looking at some of the things we're going to be using here. Here's some of the components we're going to be using. We're going to use a 1001U amplifier with a case from B&B. We got a voltmeter we're going to be installing that has USB-A and USB-C charging ports. We got a latch and push button. We got some off-road lights here. These are white. We've also got a 20 amp buck converter, and this is going to be used to control LEDs and these lights right here. And then we've got a LVC, which we may not need that depending on which battery we go with. We haven't chosen what battery to do yet. It's either going to be it probably will most likely be a 24 volt Seasider 5 amp hour battery is what we're going to go with. Here's the components we're going to be using. We've got an NVX 8-inch marine coax, and we're going to go with the black grill cover. We've got an 8-inch spacer from Built Not Bought, and we've got an Apache 3800 case right here that we're going to be using for the build. We're going to be bracing it with some wood on the inside, and we got some sound deadening right here. Over here we're going to be using, and then we'll get it all wired up and give it a try out. Not exactly sure we're going to put the lights yet. They'll be somewhere on the case with a toggle switch. I got some toggle switches that are in, I think Wednesday or Thursday. The toggle switches will be here, so I'll need a toggle switch for the LEDs and the LED lights, and probably going to do an LED controller because this is an RGB speaker here. So we'll probably do some kind of controller so we can get the flashing lights and all that, so it looks pretty cool at night. But we got a bunch of components here, several projects to build, but this is the one we're going to get started on now. So just stick around and let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go get the wood cut for the inside of the box, and we're going to get a hole cut in here for the spacer or for the speaker. Let's get started. Alright, we got our hole cut in the box, and we got a piece of wood cut right here. I went ahead and got my hole cut in that. Now what we got to do is we got to line it up on here. We're going to hold it with some clamps. We're going to drill some mounting holes. I'm look on the back side to see where I want to put them, and also have to pick the spot where I'm going to put my LED, the little small off-road lights. So let me get the clamps on there, and we'll see where we're going to drill the holes at. Alright, I got a couple of clamps on here, and so we need to pick out where we want to put our bolts and then where we want to put our off-road lights. I'm kind of thinking the off-road lights may go up here at the top, and these corners up here, or do I want them on the bottom? I know some people put them on the sides. I'm just trying to decide where I actually want to put mine at. Maybe I'll put them in this pocket right here on both sides, and that gives me room to put clamping screws up here to clamp the wood on the inside. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to screw my, I put my off-road lights right here. Yeah, alright, let's try that. Alright, I got some holes drilled in here. I went ahead and drilled them each in these corners of the boards. These are 3/16 holes, and I'm using a 1024 by 1 inch screw. So once you put that 1 inch screw in here, it leaves you with just enough screw hanging out to put a flat washer and a nut on there, and we'll get the flat washers and stuff on there. That'll give us a good clamping force to hold that board against the back. I'm trying to decide if I want to use sound deadening between the board and the front cover. Probably not going to on this one. I'm going to sound deaden all the rest of it, but since it's a OSB board, it's pretty dense. It'll absorb plenty of sound. Won't need no sound deadener on that, but that'll be fine. So we'll get all the bolts and the nuts put on there, and then we'll get us some holes drilled for the off-road lights. We're going to put those right about here. Alright, let's get the bolts put in. Okay, we got the board bolted in. All nice and good here. Looks pretty good. It's going to be nice and solid. Should eliminate any flex on the front part of this, which is where most of them flex at. And we'll get the inside all sound dampened. And also, like I said, we're going to get the holes drilled here for the off-road lights. Maybe. Let's see if we stand this thing up. I'm kind of thinking maybe we want to put them on the side. That way you can kind of spin it around like a flashlight and use them that way. I don't know. Let me think about that for a minute, and we'll see where we want to put these lights at. Alright, so we had to improvise these. This spacer plate I bought, I think I bought it for a Kicker KM8, maybe a Belva 8. I don't remember. I have to go look. They did not have any of these spacers for a NVX8, and the NVX8 frame is a lot bigger, so I had to go back out, recut the hole with a jigsaw. I had to leave room over here for my LED wires that go down beside it. And then I shaved off all the ribs, since I can't use a spacer, which will take care of the ribs. I shaved off all the ribs, and now the sub fits, or the speaker fits down in here just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and get, oh, here's the holes for the off-road lights. They're all ready to go. Before I put the lights in, I'm going to seal them real good. I'm going to put some sealant around those. And I'll seal the woofer also with some Lexel, which I have a tube of right there. Oh, in case you want to see it. Lexel, that's what we use to, it sticks to anything. It sticks good, it's waterproof. That'll make this waterproof. So anyway, we're going to get the speaker bolted in and then take a look on the inside. Alright, one quick note on these off-road lights I got here is, you can't see it on here, but it says top right across here, so it is directional, and it's to disperse the pattern, how it flies out, or is shining out, I mean. So you'll make sure you have top at the top where you want it, and then we're going to throw some sealant on the back of those, push those all the way in, and then we're going to go ahead and seal the speaker, get the speaker cover on there, and the speaker and all will be that'll be set. Okay, I got it all bolted in. I got the sealant around the speaker, and I got the off-road lights right here. I say they're off-road lights. That's how they have them advertised, and they are pretty bright to be so small. And it's going to be off-road when they're being used. So anyway, that's what we got. Here's the back side of it. Everything's sealed and ready to be start putting some wires in here. Well, that's ready to be wired up. We're going to go ahead and get some sound deadening material put in the bottom here, and we got one more hole to drill for the on-off button, and we've got to do the, what do we got over here? Yep, we got the USB connector, which is a voltmeter also, and the on-off button. And then I've got one toggle switch that's going to be put in. It's not here yet, but as soon as it gets here, I'll put it in on the top up here beside where the push buttons, or the on-off switch is. All right, let's go ahead and get this sound deadening done. All right, we got the push button installed, got it sealed up. We've got the USB port voltage meter hooked up. It's got a waterproof lid and it's sealed. I went ahead and threw together a push button on here, so that's lit up. Got the amp working. I'm just going to run a couple wires in here and turn it on and listen to the speaker with this setup here, because I'm not really sure what battery I'm going to use yet. I may end up using this 24 volt battery there, if there's plenty of room in there, and it should be. I mean, it's a good sized battery, but there's plenty of room in this 3800 case. But let me hook that up and play a song and see what happens. Alright, so I threw some wiring in here. I laid an amplifier in here for just test purposes. Got a I just laid it in here. I'm ready to tie all this together. I'm gonna use a different battery, but right now we got about like 17 volts on this 20 volt battery. I got this other battery running through a it's running through a 3 amp buck converter and it's it'll go 20 volt to 5 volt, and that's running the RGB LEDs on this woofer. And so I'm just going to do a quick little sample of some music. This will be kind of what it's like, but it's at low voltage. I am going to be putting this 24 volt lithium battery right here in as a permanent battery, and we'll be putting a charging port and stuff on it. But let's play a little music, see how it sounds.
Yeah, X is big on big. But bro, Glock ain't regular, it's rigged. Play me like a square, I'm a 5 DC. Boy, I spoil a shot, they gotta take care of my kids. Trap have a hat, pull up, get you some wigs. Hey, what you know about trying to get out some mids? Hey, I'm double rapping as I so.
Alright, so I got the amp on like 60%. I got the bass turned up, the treble turned up some. But it sounds like it's gonna be a pretty good fit for this box. Would a passive radiator make it a little more bassy? It might, but we're not going to put one in this box because it's a 3800, so it's got quite a bit of airspace. But anyway, that's just a little preview. We're going to get some of this wiring all fixed up and get an amp mounted, get a battery mounted, and we'll get the switch installed for the lights here, and we'll wire up the voltage, the charging port, which has a voltage indicator, and then the guy getting this will be able to charge his accessories, his phone, all that stuff off of the box itself. But anyway, that's how it's coming along. So I'm going to work on the wiring and stuff and the foam and go from there. Okay, this is kind of a rough layout of how this is going to be set up. We got our LED off-road lights up here. Those will be coming down, and these are the RGB LED lights for the speaker. All this stuff will be tied in, coming down here, all zip tied here. We're not going to have to run the buck converter in this to step it down to 5 volts, because I did order a LED controller. That way we can hook all 3 colors up to the controller, and it can do all the flashing and fun stuff that the LED controllers do. I'm going to mount that LED controller right here. These wires will wire right into that controller. It's just mounted back here. We'll have got the battery mounted to the side and bottom of the case. I did put Velcro against the side and against the bottom of the battery so that it sticks very good there. This is only 10-pound Velcro. I think a lot of guys use 15-pound Velcro, but I'm also going to be putting foam in here, so the foam will keep everything in place. I've got the amplifier Velcro to the side here, and I've got my power cable here. It is Velcro, so you can pull it on and off, get your wires hooked up, make all your adjustments here. I've got the USB charger here with the voltage indicator, and we'll get all this stuff wired in. I'm waiting on, I think it's tomorrow or the next day, I should have the waterproof rocker switches that I need for the LED lights up here. once I get the rocker switch in, I'll go ahead and get all this tied in and neat, and while I'm waiting on the RGB controller to come in. That won't be here till next week, so I can go ahead and get everything done and wait on the controller for last, but I can get it all finished up and get the phone put in, and then we'll review over that. But I guess the next video, or the next part of this video, is going to show the rocker switch in and all the wiring cleaned up. I just want to show that's what we got for now. This is kind of the basic layout that it's going to be. Alright, we got some updates on this box. I didn't record a lot of the stuff that I've done, but we're going to go over everything that's I've got done with it now. Something different we've got here is we now have a switch here, on-off switch, and that's for the marine deck lights that I put on the front. You got your power button and your voltmeter / USB charging ports. All of these are blue. All of them are blue. And we've got a charging port right here on the side. And we've got an LED controller in there that'll control a single color. It's either you pick the color you want, it does one single color. I've got another RGB controller coming in that'll let you do all 3 colors at one time or rotate between the 3. But as of now, we're doing a single blue color to stick with the color of the buttons. And we'll go ahead and flip these deck lights on. These lights get pretty bright. I've still got some cleaning up to do, but the box is coming out pretty good. Let's go ahead and take a look inside. I've got the phone put in. Hold this thing down. Got the phone put in here. I'll go ahead and pull this foam out right here. See what we got. This is the charger. I just got it set down in there. This is your 24-volt charger. It goes to your charging port right here. We got a remote for the controller because it's got different functions and different ways you want to make it flash. I've got the battery tied into the charge port. I've got some extra foam here in the bottom just to hold up the top piece of foam. And the 24-volt battery is solidly in place. Amps mounted. All the wiring's been tucked in. I've got wiring grommets are in place to hold that down. Then we got a piece of foam cut that'll just sit right in here to give it that clean look. But that's where we're at. We'll go ahead and put this foam back in it and get it buttoned up, and we'll do one more video of some music real quick. Alright, we got it back put together. Get this thing turned on and let it finally connect to my phone. And we're going to shoot a little song through here. Alright, yep, that thing's going to get loud. The amp I think is on, I don't know, let's take a look. I don't have it up real high. I think it's on maybe 60%. Let's see what it says here. Yep, it's on about 60%, so that's 50. So it's about 60% on the amp. And I think my phone's on about 70% volume. Let's see. Phone is 50% volume. Hit it one more time. Pack it up, pack it in, let me begin. I came to win, battle me, that's a sin. Alright. Don't want to play too much because of the copyright stuff, but anyway, there's where we are. There's where we are on this box. I believe I about got it all wrapped up. We're going to do a test on this battery. I've been letting it play for quite a while. It was originally at 24.4 volts, and I've been playing it for quite a while, and now it's at 24.2 volts. So I think the battery may last quite a while. We'll see. Hey, let's check my lights out again. Boom. Lights are nice and bright. Like I said, those are marine deck lights. You can get those off of eBay. they're fairly cheap for a pack of about 10. But that's what we got on this one. If I do get the other controller in here and it does the multiple colors, I'll either include it at the end of this video or I'll make a new video for that. But that's where we're at now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.